Did it? I hope not.
It did.
That
It
would
did.
suck.
Let me check.
It did. I have it right here. It did.
What? It still says I'm streaming on OBS though.
Mr. Surehands offline.
It
Well,
oh it
Okay,
just
so I wonder
it
how long we've been off.
It just apparently started back.
is it? Wait. So is it? Are we live again, or are we not?
Looks like we're live. We're live again. Yeah.
It
Okay.
says we're live, but I wonder how long we've been off.
Oh, it just happened. It just happened.
Yeah, not that long.
It just happened. So
Okay,
Anyway,
I'll make sure to keep it up in the background, so just in case it goes out again.
Mhm.
we resume. Should we go back, or should we just keep going?
Go back. Go back. Tell us.
Go back?
You were watching. You were watching. You said you were gonna watch Yo Bridge, but it slipped your mind because you're a dunce. Talk about that.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Maya.
Talk about.
You're welcome. I'm always here for you.
Talk about. Okay. But yeah, I did watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge last night. It was really funny. What else?
I need to check it out.
I've been
I'm starting
watching.
Miss Kobayashi's over again.
Miss
Yeah,
Kobayashi's is really good. I personally finished an anime this week that was so good. It's fucking great. And I've been wanting to talk about it for the past couple days, but I was like, I'm gonna save it for the podcast. So I recently finished One Punch Man.
Oh, I need to start that
I've
again.
heard good things.
Dude, One Punch Man is so good. Oh my god. It's good. It's good because it's so like I love the fact that it's like it's a parody, but at the same time like the animation for it is gorgeous. But then
Oh,
you
yeah.
have those times where it's like the animation is gorgeous in some scenes, and then in the other scenes it's like I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it, that picture of Saitama where he's just like blank.
Okay. Yeah, he's just like okay. Well,
I love-
isn't that a throwback to the actual comic that was?
Yeah, to how it started.
Yeah, the original web comic like is
Okay.
terrible quality. Like it's so bad, but it's
I mean, it's good, but it's not well because like the thing was he didn't. I think was it one, the guy who wrote it wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to actually have it as a series.
right.
He was only writing One Punch Man as a means to test out his new art program that he bought. So he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just draw this, and then oh shit, oh it's popular, oh no, well, gotta do this now. So he's been doing it.
But
Isn't that how many things seem to go down?
Right, like Freeman's Mind. Like
yeah,
that
or,
wasn't supposed
like-
to be so big, but
I was gonna you mentioned since we're on the subject of things we're watching, and I just remembered I watched the new trailer for Hive Swap,
Mm.
which is also relevant to the conversation we're having right now because Homestuck was another thing that got way more popular than its creator, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Also,
God, yes.
also going back to something you said earlier, John, when you said that about Red versus Blue. Red versus Blue was originally
Yes.
supposed to be only 6 episodes, and
But then Bungie found it.
but
They were like,
now
"We really like this."
but now it's like 15 seasons, and there's so many good moments that like imagine if they had done those 6 episodes and just never been picked up. Like there's so much of my life that I would just not because of that, because like there's so much that leads to, because it's like if
Like, they kept going with it, right? Really, that one really worked out for them.
yeah, if they had not kept going with that, like Rooster Teeth probably wouldn't exist in
I
the way
remember, though.
that it does, and we would have shit like Ruby, we wouldn't have shit like you know, the Achievement Hunter guys and like all that stuff, and some of my favorite things.
Yeah. We wouldn't know who Barbara Dunkelman is.
Yeah,
Imagine what a crime to humanity that would be.
we wouldn't know who Meg Turney is in her
Ooh.
gorgeous
Michael and
son.
what's her
Michael
name?
and Lindsay.
Lindsay.
They wouldn't have a kid because they
The
wouldn't probably
Joneses.
wouldn't have. Yeah, they probably
Wouldn't have met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
because he,
of this stupid box canyon.
yeah, he would have, because he would have
Don't
never, he would have never made it out of, you know, he would have never made it to Texas without that. It's there's so much shit that like that is legit. It's funny. It's funny because in
Oh, would you look at that? Speaking of Rooster Teeth stuff and people that we probably wouldn't know if it weren't for Rooster Teeth, today is Ray's 2-year anniversary on Twitch.
oh yeah,
Oh shit.
Oh, fuck.
Um,
there he
Ray
is.
Narvaez Jr.
This is the brown man. Where is he? Where's that boy?
but yeah,
Where is that boy?
he's actually streaming right now. There's a really funny like moment in the, I think it was the 10-year retrospective for Rooster Teeth. Barney was talking. He's like, you know, he's like, it's just baffling to think that there are people that met and fell in love and married because of this stupid internet show that we made. And he's like, I've checked with my lawyers. I'm pretty sure we can get a percentage of their lifetime earnings because they wouldn't exist without us.
Wow. Anyway,
He's joking. But
The-
it's pretty-
I know.
That's the same video where Jeff says, he essentially says, don't go to college, get drunk and make videos online or something like that. Like,
Works.
more like get drunk, make videos, and get like stupidly lucky
Oh,
making videos about a video. But I've been watching. Oh man, like I live with a guy. I live with my dad. I live with my dad who watches TV all the time. And other than that, I just finished watching Luke Cage. It
I've
is
heard
probably
the things.
my favorite Marvel Netflix show so far because I love his character and
I've heard good and bad things.
good and bad thing. Well, like I really didn't like the way it ended, but like it makes sense because I don't know. It just kind of felt like, man, fuck, you went through all this shit and now it ended like this. But then I'm not gonna spoil anything. Also, I've been watching Samurai Jack. I've been watching every single episode of Samurai Jack. This last week's
They
episode,
go back.
I gotta go back to that Samurai Jack. This this last episode was a turning point for a very important character, and a lot of stuff happened episode as well.
Oh,
What?
yeah. I haven't seen the episodes, but I saw a little thing about that, so that's interesting coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the next episode's looking really good. Anime wise, I heard that they started season 2 of My Hero Academia, and
I
Oh,
need to
yeah.
watch.
I need to watch the
That's
shit out of
really
that
good.
like,
Yeah.
right now. Like,
That looks-
fuck the podcast, stop it right now.
don't say that. Don't say that. My
Watch
internet
it.
might do it. Again.
Bitch, I'll do it. I swear.
Bitch.
Your internet provider has like a gun to your router.
But yeah, I don't know, apart from, you know, finishing One Punch, I've been watching a lot of like, well, I say watching, it's more like listening to, because I've been listening to a lot of like, horror channels, like, readings and stuff like that, like creepypasta readings and stuff. And I've been listening to a couple channels, but I was watching this video last night, and it was about the top 10, I think it was, like disturbing Wikipedia pages, and one of them kind of taught me about something that I didn't know. And so everybody knows the Kennedy family, right?
Yes.
That, you know.
Yeah.
I have to ask because
No, I've never heard of them.
I deal with
Who is
I
this
have to,
president
dude. I have to
that
deal
we
with fucking like essentially children all day. Okay, at work, like these people don't know who the fuck anyone is. Who's JFK? Anyways,
Yeah.
the family of the Kennedy family actually had a daughter named Rosemary Kennedy, and Rosemary Kennedy, I did not know about until listening to
Assuming
this.
things don't work out too well for Rosemary King.
So Rosemary Kennedy was essentially kind of, she had a mental condition where she never really grew mentally past the age of like an 8 or 10-year-old. And, her father was, very, very ashamed of her. And so he like she started when she got older she started becoming very like instead of having like a calm nature she started becoming kind of like I don't want to say violent but kind of mean and stuff like that, and so they decided to lobotomize her.
That's fucked up.
I believe she was 23 when they did that.
I can't remember. And so they lobotomized her, and it caused her to not be able to walk, and
Yeah, it basically failed.
it failed horribly, and caused her to have the mental capacity of a 2-year-old, essentially. And they locked her in an asylum, essentially, like a mental hospital, and she lived to be like 80 something years old in the mental hospital.
But it may sound bad, but there is kind of one thing to happen from that. Her sister Eunice, I believe her name was.
Mhm.
I want to say it's because of her condition, Rosemary's condition, that Eunice initiated the Special Olympics.
But yeah, it's it's kind of fucked up. Like, and you know, I was reading, I was, you know, hearing about this, and I was like, wow, that's really fucked up. Yeah, and he also talked about there's a one of the other pages is there was this guy in like France, and he had an insatiable appetite to the point where he would eat anything. Like, he actually like he could eat his own body weight in like food, but would never like gain weight. It was almost like he had like ridiculous amounts of like a ridiculous metabolism to the point where he could eat like
Must
whatever.
go to the bathroom a lot.
That kind of sounds like me at times.
But he ended up eating like they tested him and like he ate a live cat.
What?
And a bunch of other stuff. Like, dude, it's fucking weird. But when they actually like did the autopsy on him, this was in France in like the 1800s. Like, he had like most of his stomach or most of his like abdominal cavity was like just his stomach, and he had like a humongous gallbladder and like a humongous liver. And it looked like there was a canal from like the opening from like his mouth down into his like stomach. It was weird. It's really weird, and nobody has been able to figure out like how he could eat what he could eat.
Like his esophagus was just like his stomach or something? Like what?
It was weird.
Whoa, I'm reading up on him, and turns out he was in the French Revolutionary Army,
Mhm.
and he was doing like stuff helping out the other soldiers so he can get a share of their rations,
Mhm.
he was admitted to the military hospital, and after they did some testing and all that, it says they granted him quadruple rations.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. He was he's really fucking weird, dude. Like I was like I didn't get the opportunity to look into it because it was the last thing I watched before I went to bed. But yeah, it's fucking weird. Like just kind of hearing about it. But yeah. I love like scary stories and stuff like that, and
I mean,
so
those stories weren't really scary, at least not to me.
not that one, but that one was more about like just disturbing stuff, like, and then they talked about like a bunch of shit. Um, what else?
Oh, if we're gonna, sorry if I'm gonna jump around, but if we're gonna get into, like, listen to stories and all of that,
Mhm.
G Modon.
Oh yeah,
Introduced you to her. SCP readings.
I can't fucking talk. SCP readings. Yeah, she's. I actually follow her on Twitter. She's really like
Oh, she's
cool.
got Twitter. I need to
Yeah.
follow her then.
She actually. I think she has like a some kind of a. She has like a Pokemon tattoo or something like that. Like she tweeted pictures of it. It's pretty badass. But yeah, like I like listening to that. Although I get in this thing where it's like when it comes to like speaking and stuff like that, and when you're doing readings and stuff, I get very hung up on people if they don't. I don't want to say inflect right, but if like a story will be more interesting to me if you read it with like emphasis and stuff like that. If you're just kind of like monotoning through it, not really monotoning through it, but like just kind of like there's a lot of the readers that kind of do that, and it annoys me a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that do that, but she ends up bringing up, and not just reading them, but ends up having discussions about them at the end.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that for Gmodon. A lot of hers, like she kind of has to be very. I don't want to say because the way that SCPs have a very like scientific way of like explaining them and stuff like that, and so
The way they're written out, it's like
it's like a report.
like a report.
Yeah, which she does really well with that. Like if you listen to her when she talks about like her favorites and stuff like that, like you can tell that she actually really enjoys it and stuff. She'll actually inflect and have emphasis and emotional like stuff in it. But yeah. Okay, so is anybody reading anything currently? Because I'm not.
Oh, I currently went out and I bought me some Doctor Who books at Goodwill the other day, so I'm going to start reading up those.
Right.
I was like a month ago. I was reading JoJo, but I just kind of fell out of that because I
Stopped.
I couldn't keep up with it.
Oh, speaking of, sorry guys. Speaking of JoJo, I will be sending you that book as soon as I can.
That's all right. You take your time, man. Take your time with that.
But yeah.
Sean, do you read? Are you an intelligent person?
I'd like to consider myself an intelligent person,
No, he's fucking
but
dumb as shit.
I'm an imbecile.
You're part of
No,
this group, so.
Can't say I'm really reading anything particular at the moment.
I'm actually like super behind on like all my readings at this point. Like I'm behind on all the
You didn't do a
mangas.
summer reading, guys.
I'm behind on all the mangas I've been reading.
Oh god, don't get me started on mangas. I've got like over 100 on my bookshelf.
But yeah, like I've been, I don't know. It's very hard for me to get into reading sometimes. And then there are those days where it's like I'll sit down and I'll read an entire book in a day, and I'm just like, well, shit. But right now, I'm kind of not in that place. So, okay, okay, Chaos. Is anybody working on anything currently? I know Mario. I think you're.
Wow, you just so happened to ask. Well, let me tell you, my friend. Yeah, I'm still working on that fucking
Animation.
cartoon.
Yeah.
I've determined that it's going to be, it's half of it's going to be an intro, because I was discussing this on stream this morning.
Mhm.
So that I had that project that I wanted to work on for Destiny 1, which
Right.
was I wanted to gather up every single clip that I've recorded from May 2015, every screenshot and testimonials, if you want to call them that. I'll just like fucking interview you guys, see what you want, and all the art that I've drawn here, and I'll put them into one fucking video, and then I'll have the intro of that video be that first animated bit, and then the very end will also be animated.
Mm-hmm.
And so far I have like an hour and a half of footage that I need to cut down to 10 minutes. Or fuck it, I might as well. I'm thinking maybe I should just upload the whole hour and a half. I don't know.
Hey, why not?
Right? Like, But anyway, other than that, I am thinking about coloring up that one poster I did for the There Will Be a Ton of Loot.
Oh yeah.
If by some chance, like if he actually doesn't cancel and he actually goes to Dragon Con, I want to get it like poster sized, like I want to get it like colored in, and I want to be able to have it signed by Nathan Fillion when I go to Dragon Con, and that's something I'd like to get.
Oh, that would be
That'd
cool.
be cool.
That would be that'd be awesome.
Really fucking awesome. Yeah. Other than that, anybody else working on some shit?
Like I mentioned before, I'm working on finishing up Final Fantasy 15 so I can get that streaming. I'm also working on grabbing some other stuff that I'm probably gonna try streaming at some point, or just record me doing some. I need to start up the Pokemon Randomizer again.
Oh yeah, you did have like a couple other things you streamed with that.
Yeah, I'll have to start over from the beginning because I believe I lost the legally acquired ROM. But actually, what I really want to do is, if I go to stream Pokemon or anything, I would like to get my GameCube set up so I can get the card or the cartridge reader and all that. But on the other stuff that I'm working on is just currently no projects, just getting stuff so I can set up my computer area a little better webcam, probably some better lighting, and a better mic.
That's good. That's always good. John, you working on anything?
Oh, I have no talents whatsoever to speak of.
Bullshit, you're lying to me.
So it was actually really funny today. Me and another one of our friends, our friend Ian, he met me after I got off work. He decided to he met me when I got off work, and he was like, "Hey, let's go to Walmart," because he was waiting on his girlfriend to get off. And so
Hashtag not sponsored by Walmart.
Hashtag not sponsored. Did you see the name of the podcast this
Yeah,
week?
it's
Yes, I did.
Hashtag not sponsored. Oh shit!
You okay?
Yeah, my mic almost fell off. Hold on, give me a second.
You should.
Continue, go. It's a nice story. Keep
Okay. Anyways, oh,
Yep.
Vivi's here. Hi, Vivi.
Hello.
Hello.
But yeah, so,
Focus Garth.
anyways,
Story time.
so we were walking through, and this Marine recruiter walks up to me, and he was asking me a bunch of questions, and I was, I was talking to him, and he, I was gonna give him, hi, I was gonna give him, real answers. He was like, "Have you ever thought about going into the military?" I was like, "Yeah, when I was a younger man," because it's true, I did.
Then you were like, you know what? That sounds like a bad idea.
And then I was like, he kept asking me questions, and he was like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I was like, "I would honestly like to start my own gaming brand, if that makes sense."
I mean, should have told him.
And he
You're
was
like, I'm thinking about getting into porn.
Oh god. That was actually pretty funny to see his impression.
dude, next time. Same guy. He's asked.
Next time on Game Grumps.
He's asked me like 4 times, and I was like, but it was just funny because I was like, gaming brand. I don't even think he knew what that fucking meant.
Probably
like-
not.
And y'all understand what that means, right? Like,
No, not at all, Garth. Please explain.
What is this online gaming of which you speak?
You should probably go into detail anyway.
but no, like, my idea would I would like to start a gaming brand as in like a group that sponsors and runs teams for different like championships and stuff like that. So like the COD.
What game could you possibly have in mind?
Well, I have a lot of games in mind, John. Thank you very much. But
Yeah, John. Fucking asshole.
I personally would like to head up a team for Smite.
Oh,
But-
what a surprise!
Wow.
I don't never saw that coming.
I would honestly like to, like, with the gaming brand, I would like to do stuff with, with, I wouldn't play it personally, but COD, Halo, that kind of shit.
The basic stuff.
Assuming you make
I
Halo.
heard Counter Strike's pretty good this time. of
Probably, like, League, Counter-Strike, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't get into gambling on Counter Strike.
No.
That
And-
was a big thing a while back.
Yes, it was.
Fucking T. Martin.
A bunch of streamers and stuff got busted
Yo,
for that.
guys, I found this super, awesome, the fucking, what's it, gambling site that's totally not owned by me. Whoa!
Well, no, it was more like
It's a
it
whole
was.
big
It was essentially that. He was like, it's totally. He was like, it's. It wasn't even. He was like, shout out to
Not a
this,
scam.
and then it was like, dude. Everybody looked into it like, dude, you own that with Syndicate.
And then it's just like, what? No.
He's like, that was he was like, that was fucking public knowledge. Like, everybody could have seen that. It's like, yeah, if we looked for it, but we thought you were just being like a genuine person and not shouting out to something where you were going to make money regardless of whether you win or lose.
Hey, shout out to the Loot Stash podcast. It's a really good podcast. You best you check it out.
Right? Like,
totally.
podcasts around right now. That loot cash guys, they're pretty cool if you know what I mean.
I think one of them's name is Mary. He's a dude,
Mary
but his
and-
name's
and-
Mary.
There's Mary.
Yeah,
Marion and
Gareth?
When
Gareth.
no, Gerd and Chose.
Chose.
Shows.
Chows. Chows.
Yeah, I get called Chows a lot. Now that I think about it.
But yeah, it was just it I mean, and when Syndicate, he was immediately like, yeah, he came out and he was like, you know what, I probably shouldn't have. He's like, looking back at it, I probably shouldn't have done it this way. I probably should have changed, like, done it a little bit differently. Whatever. T. Martin decided that he wasn't making a big enough ass out of himself, and so he said a whole bunch of shit that just was so bad. Like, he just like, it's a long past story, but it was a really, like, it really showed the character of, like,
Well, in the past now.
yeah, two people. That was like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, into
Those loot dudes. That's it. That's gonna be our new name, the Loot Dudes.
thanks,
Totally.
BB. I'm sorry, bye. But I'm going to transition into this. Speaking of gaming news, relatively recently the Xbox and PlayStation have announced some new stuff.
Yeah. That's
Chaos.
Oh,
Chaos.
yeah.
Would you like? Would
The
you like to
Project
take?
Frisco.
Yeah. Would you like to take the
What?
the lead on this one?
Yes. I've been looking up on first
True
one,
that.
the Scorpio. Been looking up some information on this. Kind of, sort of looking up information from what it, all of the mine just went blank. The hardware and all of that. It looks like it's gonna be more computer based than actual console. It's still going to be a console, but it's going to have just a lot higher, lot more RAM. Starting off with a 1 terabyte hard drive, which you have to get either special editions or like an extended hard drive for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's got everything's starting to go 4K, which means if you don't have a 4K TV when you get this or the PS4 Pro, which would be the next one we talk about, you're not going to be able to get the 4K graphics, which some 4K TVs are starting to get a little cheaper, but not much cheaper.
Yeah. I remember looking at, like, when I built my computer, I was looking for monitors, and I was like, do I want? Because my graphics card is actually good enough to run 4K. I just didn't want to fork out the cash for a 4K monitor because they are really expensive, and I had already spent a lot of money on my PC.
Also, like, what's the point of a 4K monitor, honestly?
I don't know.
Higher
There's-
graphics. It's to make it
More graphics.
look smoother and all of that. I'm guessing.
I just want to watch 4K porn. That's all.
Absolutely.
Garth,
He
wow,
wants to see the
alright.
sweat pores. It's like,
No. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, I'm going to 4K
Pro-
VR.
Project
Oh my
Scorpio, they shoved a lot of graphics into it. What else
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta do?
Well, the engine, the quote engine on it. Looking at the page I'm on right now, Scorpio engine with 6 teraflops. Yeah, that's I've heard that before, but I don't know exactly what a teraflop is.
Okay, so Chaos, do
Yeah,
you want me
I'm
to
very
try to
unfamiliar.
explain it?
You can try. I've got the
Okay.
Google thing up.
Okay, so a flop is like, so teraflops, flops are essentially how fast the computing power for something is. Like how, like, and what does it actually stand for? It was like,
I don't.
it's like,
Flop stands for floating
Fallopian
point
tubes.
operation.
right.
per second.
Right. So essentially like I looked into it because I was trying to figure out what, because just saying, oh, it's 6 teraflops, nobody knows what the hell a fucking teraflop is, you know?
It makes
Because
it
that's some
sound.
people know,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
a
am not
sound.
It's like
one of the
it sounds like it's like, oh yeah, it's at 6 teraflops. What the hell is it? It sounds like you're making shit up. It's an actual thing.
It sounds like you pull something out of your ass.
It's an actual
yeah, right?
thing,
Like those 1.21 gigawatts.
but
Okay,
it's an actual
brown.
thing. I was looking into it, and comparatively, like teraflops, 6 teraflops is about the same as the Titan X graphics card. If you know what, if you know,
Okay.
yeah. So
Makes sense now.
now, on that same note, well, not the NVIDIA Titan X, the the Titan X.
Oh,
Titan.
okay. Yeah.
The NVIDIA Titan and the GTX, the NVIDIA GTX 1080, that whole series, they're like, what? They're like 12 teraflops or some shit like that. So it's about half of the current highest. It's actually very close to the PC I built. So, you know. But yeah,
Okay, so that's teraflop.
yeah.
Next thing on it, it says it's got 326 gigs of memory bandwidth, which would be very good for consoles.
Yeah.
Very good
Memory
for consoles.
bandwidth. Excuse me, science
Such
man,
bandwidth,
explain this
such
to me.
internet.
Excuse me, Mr. Intelligente. Tell me what this memory bandwidth means. Is it just means like how fast like processes can be shot out, or?
Yeah. Oh god, my mind just went blank on this. It's basically, what? Isn't that basically the RAM? To put it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
kind of.
basically.
Well-
It's simple
well-
terms. It's basically RAM,
Sort of.
kind of, sort of.
Because it does have like
Not
a
a sort of baby, perhaps.
it does have its own like. I don't know. The whole thing, like, they just show. Honestly, to me, it's like they're just throwing out a bunch of like numbers and just trying to see if like people are like, oh my god, that's really good, for the people that actually understand them. It's. I want to say that it's the exact same thing that they did with like the always online stuff, where it's like Bernie Burns from Rooster Teeth, he mentioned this, and it's very like he mentioned this in an episode of the podcast a long time ago when they were talking about like the always online stuff for like Xbox One and stuff like that. When Sony comes out and they tell people like, oh yeah, this is what it does, they just say like, this is what it does, whereas like when Microsoft tries to tell you what something does, they're gonna throw a whole bunch of numbers at you. It's the difference between talking to like a contractor and talking to an architect. Like, genuinely. Because it's like, the architect is going to tell you, well, this is a this, and it does this, and this is how this works, and then it's like, a contractor's like, yeah, that holds the thing up. Like,
Oh, okay. Sorry, I decided to look up memory bandwidth.
mm,
Memory bandwidth, going straight off the Wikipedia page. Memory bandwidth is the rate at which data can be read from or stored onto a semiconductor memory by a processor. Memory
Yeah,
bandwidth
so-
is usually expressed in units of bytes a second.
Hmm.
So this can vary for systems natural data sizes that are not multiple of the commonly used 8-bit bytes.
right.
Yeah.
Alright.
So it was like how fast it could be pushing
Yeah.
around.
That's essentially.
Right.
But yeah, like, it's just really funny to me because it's like, that's always Microsoft. Like, anytime something comes out, because
They love pumping numbers.
they love like throwing out these numbers, and it's like we don't know what the fuck that means.
I mean,
Like, we
fuck
don't
it,
know if that's good. We don't know if
I
that's
like
bad.
numbers as much as the next guy, but
I mean,
but-
shit. Look
I don't
at
faith.
Peter Molyneux. He was Lord Hype Man for Microsoft.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but Peter. Well, the thing about Peter Molyneux is like he's the hype man, but also think about the things that he said and what he did, and like it. It's
Garth, we're not here to think, we're here to talk.
the way that he did it. The way that he did it was like, oh yeah, it's gonna do this. It didn't do that. Or like with the last project that had Goddess, when it was like, oh yeah, one person's gonna get to control this, and they never got back to the guy. It's like they have these, like he has these big plans, and they never work because they just don't do what he wants, like ever. He'll say like, oh, it's this. It doesn't work like that. That's not how things work. But it's, I mean, the biggest thing was like Microsoft shoots himself in the foot every single time because they're like, oh yeah. So this, like with the always online thing, it was like, oh yeah, when it's like when you're not home, it's going to be online. It's going to do this. You have to have an internet connection for it. And I was like, well, that sounds shitty.
I see how that is now.
Well, here's the thing. The same thing is exactly what happened when it came to like was like when somebody asks is like, can you download games when you're offline to Sony? You know what Sony said?
No.
No, they were like, yeah,
Oh.
you can. And he's like, everybody's like, how? It's like, it just does. Because
It
it's
just
always
does.
it's always online, but they weren't gonna say that because they knew it'd have a negative effect. It's like,
yeah, dude. Sony does
So
what
they-
Nintendo don't.
Lied.
Uh,
But,
no, it's not like they kind of not. It's not. I wouldn't say it's lying. It's just like they didn't. You know.
Speaking of always online related things, there are a lot of games that have. I'm gonna bring out Destiny for this point.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of single player stories and stuff that you could go on,
Yeah.
but if you don't have internet, it like blocks out a lot of stuff you can do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like strikes. Like you immediately like I went and I got my brother a PlayStation 4 because he's been wanting a PlayStation 4, and he really liked Destiny, and it was like about a month ago, and the Destiny Complete Collection with Rise of Iron, Taken, Dark Below, House of Wolves, all of it was on one disc. I was like, well, what do you know? Like my brother's gonna be able to play a $60 version of Destiny with $60 worth of content, and he's gonna be able to play on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him a PS4, and
They can get those ghosts we can't get.
oh yeah, he can get. Shit, I'm
He can-
sorry. I was blabbing on about and oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I almost forgot. What I was talking about was we were playing, and we were doing strikes, and it's like, oh, you just so happen to not have PlayStation Plus. You can't play the strike, and
Oh, God.
and it's
Plus,
like,
no.
wait, are you telling me that, like, I can't progress through the story without? Well, I mean, you can progress through the story, but it's like you telling me I can't do these specific important things without having to pay you more money. And it's funny because like when I played Destiny for the first time when it came out on the PlayStation 3, and I played it when it came out, you didn't need PS Plus. You could just
No.
play it.
No, because PlayStation
that's-
3 did not require PlayStation Plus to play online. PlayStation
Yeah.
4.
Or does.
There's
But-
PS Plus for PlayStation 4 is essentially just Xbox Live.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
pluses and minuses.
Except-
There's no difference.
Except there is one difference. When you do not have PlayStation Plus on PlayStation 4, you cannot play the games that are on PlayStation Plus. Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
downloaded a game, through
give you
it?
games
games
for
that they give away.
right?
Aggressive air
free.
quotes on.
You just can't play them.
You cannot play them unless you have PlayStation Plus. Whereas like if you go to Silver on Xbox Live, you can still play those games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I believe if you
yeah,
go
if
to
you got a
Silver,
Games
you can
for Gold
still,
game that was like a free a couple months ago, and like you downloaded it, you own that game. Like that's
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah.
considers you
I'm not saying
buying the game.
I'm not saying
For free.
points, points for either one about that, but that's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah,
I
that's
mean-
really cool for us.
All
That's
the
just how-
subscription things
yeah,
still
That's just how it works.
yeah,
all the
Like
subscription things still
PlayStation and
aren't the
Xbox
best
have
thing.
their pros and cons.
yeah.
Like they both have good exclusives and they're fun to play on the both.
Fucking Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. Console exclusivity? Is that how you say it?
yes,
Exclusive things
exclusivity.
I like the idea of it for like games in general.
It's
But-
good because it breeds competition.
Yeah, it breeds competition. But what I don't like about it is like what they're doing with Destiny. I know they have a deal with
Yeah,
Sony
that,
and
well,
all
that's
but
That's
the thing is,
Activision,
that's
not
Activision.
That's
Bungie.
Activision. But the thing is, that's like one of the few games that actually does something like that. I forget there was another game that has exclusive things for one console, but to make up for it, they give the other console exclusive things.
not Call of Duty, but
Not
again,
Call of Duty.
that's
Yeah, no, not Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, because that's another
Yeah.
Activision franchise.
Yeah.
Just Activision in
that's why
general.
I'm
Yeah.
mentioning it.
Activision
Activision's just shitty.
Activision has, I mean, God, they were so money hungry that they've killed multiple franchises at this point. They killed the fucking Guitar Hero franchise.
They tried
drug
they
it into
tried-
the
yeah.
fucking ground.
Well, they tried bringing it back, but it didn't work.
Well, it wasn't.
No.
Well, I mean, but they were the reason that it died in the first place because there was so much overexposure. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna put out
Yeah, most likely
19
kill
games.
franchises.
We're gonna put out 19 games in 10 years.
Didn't we get like fucking 3 in 1 year? One
Yes.
Yeah,
That was
was
just.
it one for the DS, one for the like?
Okay, that DS one was
Yeah.
actually very interesting. I actually played it. It was
I
actually kind of,
I have it somewhere around here.
Was it
it was actually kind of fun.
I used to be really big into those games like the Kingdom the fuck
Rhythm games?
I used to be really big into rhythm games. Like if you've ever seen me like or like what I used to do, like I used to play Rock Band like all the time
Oh, I know.
because I had like 400 songs downloaded on there or something like that. Like I had a fuck ton. Like I used to play them all the time, and then they didn't move up to Xbox One, and then it was like when I finally got Rock Band for Xbox One, like I just didn't feel like playing that much anymore, and then like now I don't want to do it because like every time I do, like I always want to do it while it's like the middle of the night, and I live with my parents, and so that would not fly because I don't want to play guitar. I want to play drums.
Okay, real quick,
Yo.
before we get more into this and everything, should I jump back to Scorpio?
If you want to,
Because
Yeah.
we were talking about Scorpio and then we kind of went on.
Yeah,
Tangents actually
on
aren't
a
that bad.
tangent.
Tangents are actually
yeah.
pretty good to have. Anyways, the number 2 point on the Scorpio is what they call Vapor Chamber. A first for home consoles. This is actually something I'm actually very excited for,
Mhm.
though the way they worded it's a little weird. A first for home consoles. Project Scorpio's Vapor Chamber uses advanced liquid cooling to ensure the Scorpio engine stays cool. That is something like the early Xbox Ones and a lot of that have problems with overheating.
Yes. Well,
Liquid cooling will actually solve that, but the way they call it the vapor chamber, vapor is a gas, well, a gas-ish liquid or gas-ish state. But
In
with the
Project Scorpio #VapeNation.
Oh dear God. But yeah, liquid cooled will make it a lot better because a less chance of it overheating.
Yeah. Well, that was essentially what the Red Ring of Death was, wasn't it? Like it was a.
Yeah, the Red Ring of Death was, there was actually a couple, well, depending on which Red Ring of Death, there was one, neighbor actually had it happen to him. It, melted components. It got so hot.
Yeah.
The big thing I had was the power brick would overheat for me,
Mm.
but there's no power bricks anymore.
John's power brick completely shit
Yeah,
itself at
there
one
There is
point.
power bricks, but it's,
I
oh God,
remember when I was.
John's power brick.
Oh yeah, I remember I was like, hey dude, I have an extra power brick I can
Yeah.
ship to you. You're like, nah man, no, it's good. And then you got an Xbox One and like, finally they're gonna solve that power brick problem, and they just give you another brick.
Yep. But liquid cooling is going to be very nice. On to cooling. Number 3 point is centrifugal fan.
Centrif-
Yeah,
centrifuge.
centrifugal fan.
Yeah, centrifuge.
Centrifugal.
Centrifugal fan. It's no,
Centrifuge.
that's fugal. That sounds wrong.
Fuge.
Like centrifuge.
Yeah.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuge. Centrifuge has a G in it, so.
Yes.
Well, is it centrifugal or centrifuge?
Well, I know there's centrifugal
Centrifugal
force, which I
force.
believe is
Yeah.
centrifugal. I don't know. I always heard it pronounced centrifugal. Anyways, a supercharger style fan basically rapidly pulls in and compresses air to deliver maximum cooling with minimum noise.
Gotta love that flavor text.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, well, it's saying supercharger, which means I'm thinking car superchargers.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever seen one of those like big blowers that has like this circle in the middle of it?
Yeah.
It's
the
essentially one of those. Like
okay.
Silent. Oh.
what it does is like it'll. So it's like a circle, and then on the inside of it you have the blades, and it spins around that and it pushes the air that way. So it's like a compressed, like it's like a chamber thing. It's actually,
Oh,
like-
okay, it's one of those.
yeah. It seems like it, like, I mean, it seems like it could be interesting. You know,
Yeah.
those are always really, really good fans. So I don't fucking know.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways of cooling it down, which
Right.
hopefully, which is actually making me think, how strong is this thing actually gonna be?
Well, I mean,
Strong enough that it
Well-
needs all that.
Speaking of power, because power does heat stuff up. Number 4 point, Hovis
Hovis, I would say.
Hovis method to maximize performance and minimize power consumption. Project Scorpio uses the Hovis method, a cutting-edge digital power delivery system that custom turns each console's voltage. Tunes. Each console's voltage.
Yeah.
I- This is the, one of the first times I've heard Hovis method brought up.
Like I said, Garth's right, man. Like it's just a lot of fucking like flavory, fancy words
Yeah.
being thrown around. Like the Hovis method. Like who knows what that is? What is that?
there's people that
Something
probably
out there.
know what it is, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
That's right.
And
Like, I
it's
don't know what
not.
it is,
It
but it
doesn't.
sounds fancy.
It sounds fancy, but it doesn't impress me because I don't know what the fuck it is. It'll
I
impress
just
some
looked up
people.
The Hovis method, the first thing that popped up is a British bakery.
Hey
Oh.
man,
Hey,
Hey,
dude,
man,
we're gonna you tell him.
where is it?
we're putting bread in it.
If
Let's
comes
do
to
this.
Pastries, I'll get it. Sure.
John, talk about this the other day. Like me and one of my supervisors was talking about this the other day. But fucking, we were talking about cannolis. I was like, oh my god,
Ooh.
I would.
Hey man, cannolis are good.
He said there's some good cannolis in like. It's. I mean,
Okay, so apparently, most consoles and everything, they would run enough voltage through them to give each chip in the console or computer, whatever you're using, enough power to run it. Apparently, the Hovis method uses a small thing in it, which it knows which how much power each chip needs, and it will send up that exact amount, which means it'll get rid of waste voltage, which waste voltage turns into heat, which would cool it down more, which would be nice. So apparently that's what it is.
Fancy.
Apparently, from what this person says, it's on a Reddit post, the power draw difference will be like very minuscule, but the heat difference will be more noticeable. So that's a thing.
Just noticed something.
Yeah.
Outside of what we're talking about right now, you created 2 channels for the Discord, General and Podcast. We're in General right now.
Yeah, I know.
I was gonna say something.
Okay,
But then he's like, "Oh, we're starting."
Okay, now here's the thing. There's nobody else really in here. I mean, Higgins is online, but he's not in here. And also,
Yeah.
I can mute him if I have to, if he does come in. So,
Wow,
Oh, that's Hagen's?
nice scarf.
Yeah.
Really thought that one through.
All right.
Oh, man,
The-
power longer.
it's
The
more
last
it's more
thing-
for when we actually have like more people in the channel.
True. That makes sense.
the last things popping up for the Scorpio, there's 8 points on this. There's a true 4K gaming.
As opposed to false.
Okay. Of course, like we mentioned, 6 teraflops GPU. So,
Right.
2.3 gigahertz custom CPU. So, that's not that bad. 1 terabyte HDD storage. So, starting off with 1 terabyte makes me wonder if there's going to be like special editions, which gives you 2. Speaking of the memory terabytes and all that, hard drives, it's getting a lot cheaper to make bigger hard drives now. I remember just like a couple years ago, it cost me like $100-some to get a 1 terabyte external hard drive.
Yo, remember when like the people like speculated that the 360 was gonna get like a 1 terabyte hard drive, and they were like, "Dude, what are you gonna even need like that much space for?"
And
And then now we're like, I don't have enough. I need more
I don't- I
terabytes.
need-
yeah, my 1 terabyte hard drive's
space.
already full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Fifth point is 12 gigabytes GDDR5 memory.
As opposed to GDDR3, which is
Absolutely.
was last generation. I think, well, not last generations, but it was like before that.
Yeah. Then, of course, the 326 gigabytes a second memory bandwidth, which should make, like, I believe that's, like, what the 360 had a problem with in Destiny. Remember, like, you're in the middle of a raid or, like, you're in the middle of a strike and you need to pop that heavy SID, load
Yeah,
the menu, and it
load
takes,
the
like,
menu.
10 minutes for your menu to pop up. I believe it will fix stuff like that. Because I still have slightly that, only when there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's still a lot faster to open the menu on.
Oh, yeah.
console.
HDR
yeah.
games and environment. So,
High dynamic
or
range.
entertainment, not environment.
That's basically like lighting, how lighting is supposed to. Well, I mean HDR. It was the first time I heard about high dynamic range was when I played like the Lost Coast demo for Half-Life 2, and basically it was supposed to be realistic lighting. Like, let's say if you're out in a sunny day and you walk into a cave, you look into the cave while you're outside. It's super dark. You walk inside, it takes your eyes a while to adjust.
Yeah.
And it starts brightening up, and then everything outside looks super bright until you walk out and it fixes. It's basically high dynamic range.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's some games that could use a little work on that. Because there's a couple games that I play, and like you're inside, it's all nice and adjusted, you can see everything. You step outside, and suddenly just brightness everywhere, and it takes way too long for it to adjust. Or like
Yeah.
you're in a room and you like face towards a door, the whole room gets dark because the door is very bright,
Mhm.
and it ruins a lot of gaming experience.
Yeah.
And anyways,
No, my eyes.
on the Scorpio, the last thing that pops up is the 4K UHD Blu-ray DVD. I like how everything's starting to go Blu-ray because Blu-ray is a lot better than just regular DVD.
I mean, you can store
Oh,
it way
yeah.
more.
But again, 4K. I know 4K is good and everything. After a while, it'll be cheaper, so we'll be able to get 4K related things. But then we'll be up to like, by the time it's cheap enough for me to be able to get a good 4K TV, we'll be up to like 20K or something like that.
No, I mean, because like the human eye can only like detect how like it's like so far. There's gonna be a point where there's just like, all right, well, we've reached like the best a TV can be. Let's stop
There's
thinking about how much detail we can see and how immersive the experience instead of how
Okay,
much you
there's-
can see.
There's one thing that was brought up. I believe the normal human eye can see 60 frames a second very well. Anything higher than that, it starts putting a little strain. There was a channel, I forget what channel it was. I watched a video about this years ago, but there's a channel somewhere that was playing a ping pong match, but they played it in such a way that you'd be able to see the ping pong clearly. But the way they were doing it, it was giving people headaches because it was like unnatural for it.
Yeah.
It was weird how it worked. But that's everything on the Microsoft website about the Scorpio.
Alright.
It says it's coming holiday 2017, which means around November, December.
Yeah.
But actually, now that I'm looking at it, the breakdown, like the piece by piece thing, you can actually see the fan on it, and you can see how it looks. So that actually looks like, yeah, that's supercharged fan.
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna. Oh wait, well, I mean, well, before you go, I wonder if they're actually gonna make another fucking box. Like, oh look, a box. Man, I love having a perfectly large, chunky, square console.
So,
But looking at everything they have for it, it looks like it's going to be kind of small, which I kind of hope because Xbox One takes a shit ton of room on my table right now.
So I'm just gonna say this is now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and so that's Chaos going over the Scorpio stuff. If you don't mind, Chaos, I'd like to go over the PS4 Pro stuff.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, so we got this nice thing. It's like it's just a bunch of screens like going down, and it's like dynamic 4K gaming and 4K entertainment. Okay,
See enhanced games in action.
right. And then down here it's like PS4 Pro feature breakdown. All right, are you ready for the feature breakdown? PS4 Pro HD. PS4 Pro outputs an enhanced HD resolution. Dynamic 4K gaming. PS4 Pro utilizes enhanced resolution techniques to increase the game resolution to approach 4K. Native 4K on Pro. PS4 enables game resolution output at a native 2160p resolution.
You sure?
Yeah, shut up. Graphic. That was resolution. Graphics. Greater draw distance. Improved visibility of objects further in the background with greater focus and more detail. Anti-aliasing. Images with soft features such as rounded corners or faces appear smoother and more visually realistic. Visual effects. Visuals with very small features like smoke and steam have a heavier look and more realistic feel. Environments. Vivid textures. PS4 Pro enables more elaborate design of images that create the detail we see in games, like dirt on clothing or rust on metal. Do you see a?
Deep shadows.
Do you see a like? Do you
Yeah.
see a difference here?
They're not pushing out numbers or big words. It's easy to understand.
It's just like
Explaining,
I mean,
love
like
the way
some of them
PlayStation
are
does this.
like kind of that a lot of people have probably heard before, like
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Most
I
people
mean
understand
like
what anti-aliasing
those-
is.
yeah.
Yeah, you've heard those terms before, most likely.
But it's
So
just
you has a frame of reference for it.
it's just so like it's so different. I'm pretty sure. Go
Also,
ahead.
wait, go over to HDR. Okay, I want you to go back to Project Scorpio, and it says where does it say? Where does it say? Right there, right there. Fucking HDR Games and Entertainment. Right there, right under the. That's it. That's all you get. But you go over
Yeah.
to PlayStation 4, and you tab over to HDR. It's like high dynamic range balances the light in games, coming closer to the full spectrum of light we see with the human eye. Also available on base model PS4.
It's letting you know
Explain
exactly what it
that
says.
means. So
Yeah.
like HDR. I'm like, oh man, I'd love to know what the hell that was because it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, well, like the TLDR for the PlayStation 4 Pros, it's an upgraded PS4 with
Yeah.
better graphics, and better rendering.
I just wish that like the Xbox page would have like, or just like, what does teraflop mean? What is
Yeah.
what is
That,
what is
Like-
appreciated that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like- like.
What, just dumb?
Oh, there was a moment. There was a moment earlier because I was
Dumb.
reading. I was reading up on teraflops because I was reading about. There was a thing where they were talking about flops in general and the different like. So there's computers now, or there's supercomputers now that run at higher than a teraflop,
Oh yeah.
petaflop, a pflop, if you will.
Peen-
Now, they haven't found them yet. They haven't gotten to the point where they'll actually run, but
Hashtag peenflop.
P flop, not peen flop. There's a part, but they were talking about it. They were talking about it, and like in the next couple years, in going to 2020, there's a person who's trying to build a computer that'll run at an exaflop or an eflop. Okay, eflops.
What's he trying to do? Simulate the universe?
Then
Absolutely.
no, okay. Then they said that by 2030 they hope to have one that can I think what was it? It's not monitor weather. It's it's like predicting weather, but predicting weather accurately in like
So actually doing the Weather Channel's
for
job.
for a 2 week period of time.
Oh shit! Like
In order for that to happen, they'll have to get to something called a zeta flop or a z flop,
God.
if you will. I was like, what? I was just looking at these. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it made. I was like, they're just making shit up at this point. Like,
oh man, Xbox Project Scorpio can run at 6 zeta flops per hip hoppity dop.
for one hippity bip,
One slippity slop, you get everybody do the flop, and then
everybody do the flop. Anyway, yes, that is an emote.
I didn't know they had a Gears of War emote.
was that it? Is that all you wanted to say there? Is that really just like we're talking about important shit like peen flops, and then you just gotta just that?
Yes. And it's clearly 100% relevant to this conversation.
Hashtag Gears peen.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yourself give us money.
Anyways, Taco.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, like,
It was Tuesday.
what?
Sorry. I forgot it was Tuesday for a second.
Jesus. Vivi just not saying anything and then just chiming in nice on the taco.
Good taco.
She was very excited about that taco. But yeah, I just
It's a good taco gar.
I just think it's really funny that they're like they made up this thing, and it sounds so ridiculous because like teraflops. Why does it? Okay, whatever. all right, you go with it. Fuck it, we got it. But yeah, and then they're like, we're gonna add a bunch of shit, like a bunch of extra shit that theoretically we haven't made yet, but theoretically we could get to. And it's like, why? Also, why P flops and Z flops and X flops? Like,
You
yeah,
gotta
E
flop
flops.
P's and Z's.
It's, I don't know, the
They're
whole
not-
thing.
Who will flop them, Gar?
I'm pretty
If not
sure.
us.
I'm pretty sure like it's a metric thing, but like we just don't get that far in it. Anyways,
You need to be flopped. You don't understand.
anyways, that was our current news discussion. That went on for a minute.
I don't think that was actually a minute.
Yes.
I can kick you from this. It's fucking.
Oh wow, cool. Save me the trouble of
Guys,
actually
we gotta
leaving.
run.
I'm kidding. I'm
Right.
kidding. Anyways,
so how much time do we actually have left? Any more topics do we want to cover?
Well, I had one more thing that I was gonna do. I was gonna do my if there was anything else anybody wanted to like chime in with or say anything about.
I'm gonna bring up games that I'm looking forward to.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
games looking
Oh,
forward to. They're technically already out. I just haven't been able to play them. Of course, Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I got a Wii U, so I can technically play it on there. But I kind of want to get a Switch just because I'm a console collector. I collect consoles.
I am too, but I just don't want to spend the money on a Switch because I honestly,
That's why I'm waiting for a while to come up with a. See, I have a feeling they're going to do like what they did with the 3DS. I have a feeling they're going to bring out a cheaper version at some point.
yeah, I just feel like it's not. I just don't think the.
It's very gimmicky.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's a lot of Nintendo's consoles.
Nintendo has turned into like the gimmick king almost, and
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like I don't.
Not bad consoles. It's
No,
just,
I really enjoyed the Lay Switch. Like,
Oh, if they. Okay, back onto the Wii U, sorry. I still say what would have boosted the sales of the Wii U is a D&D game.
yeah, I mean,
Person holding the
the screens.
the Wii U screen. No, the person holding the Wii U screen is like the dungeon master, and everyone else has their controller.
yeah,
That would have been fucking
I
glorious.
think. Yeah, I think we had a vision switch for this. Sounds familiar.
but yeah, it would be very interesting. I've seen like Katie had one of her friends, Katie. She has a
Shout out to Katie.
she has a Wii U and she's been playing through Breath of the Wild and I've seen her play it and it just makes me really 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 want to play it because it looks like so much fun. Honestly, to me, like I've played a lot of Zelda games. I own a lot of Zelda games. I honestly feel like I would have so much fun playing Breath of the Wild. Like I feel like I would probably like it. I don't know if I'd like it more than like it would become my new favorite Zelda game, but I feel like it'd be up there. Like
Oh yeah.
I feel like they raised the bar so high with it, and it looks so good and like so much fun. And there's so much you can do with it.
It's very open world.
Yeah.
It's not like some of those other open worlds where
Yeah,
we're
it's kinda-
over the places. You could literally start off and just walk in a direction like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go fight this thing. Bam, one hit kill. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've made a mistake.
it's so interesting. Like it's such an interesting like it looks like such a fun game. And
Oh,
from
yeah.
what I've seen of like the lore and the tidbits of the story that I've actually seen
Oh
and
god,
stuff
there's
like that,
so much stuff in
it
that.
looks so good. Like it's one thing to have a game that fulfills the one thing that a lot of people have been asking for years now, which is
Open world Zelda.
an open world Zelda, but also to have it have such an interesting, engaging story, and also it seems like it's so full of emotion and stuff like that. Like it's extremely well written, and a
From
lot
what
of
I've
people,
seen, it is.
yeah,
I've
and a
heard
lot of people are calling
criticism,
it.
though.
A lot of people are calling it the best Zelda game ever made. I don't know about that, but from what I've seen, it looks like so much fun, and I really want to play it.
It does.
But that's one of those games where it's like with the Zelda games, I just play through them whenever I play through them, and that's it. Like I don't like a lot of them. I know everything that happens in them and all that kind of stuff. It's just I don't play those games to really discuss them with people. I just play them for me because
Well,
I enjoy them. You know.
from what I've seen, Breath of the Wild, it's gonna not on the same extent as Skyrim, but there's still some things that you may not find like on your first playthrough
Right.
and stuff like that. Because there's a well, it's not going to spoil anything that I've watched someone do. If you go through one thing, end up meeting a person before you meet someone else, it unlocks a certain thing, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
There's a very interesting to me there's a shit, I forgot about something earlier. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a very did you see Gerard, the completionist? He actually finished, like, it's him, so of course he did, but he actually finished like getting all of the Koros, I think was the name of them. The like seed guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got like all 900 of them. Like,
Oh,
So did Goth. He had a guide though.
yeah. He ended up like getting all of those and
Aw.
like doing a bunch of shit. Like it was really cool.
I think John's gone. Or Spartan's gone.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Now we're gonna get sued by Nintendo, guys. Hashtag not sponsored.
Because, well, I mean, that's your fault, actually.
Well, actually, no. You added your own twist at the end of it, so technically it's fair use.
Fair use.
Did we really lose John? Did
I
did we
yeah,
lose
I
him?
believe so.
He said on the other chat that his computer, his comp shit itself. So
Yeah, so I'm assuming he might be out.
Well, I
Well-
mean,
That's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
I mean, if any. Oh, shit. Yeah, there he goes. Anyway,
but real quick, on things we were looking forward to and all that. Sorry, I'm taking your job, but I kind of want to bring this up before we stop. The music,
Uh-huh.
because we brought up things we were listening to, and I didn't want to bring this up until later. I've been going through, and everyone else should, the subreddit "Listen to This" or "Listen to This."
Uh-huh.
There's this music you would not think of listening for, because I'm a person who I don't go by albums. I listen song per song,
Mhm.
and I found a lot of songs that I like just from that.
Yeah. They're like I actually went on it and I found a couple bands that I need to look into a little bit more. There was an album or two. Like people were sharing whole albums in there too.
Oh yeah,
Listening to. Speaking of which, I was actually just gonna like do my album suggestion and end it. So it's a pretty good segue. So my album suggestion for this week is Shogun by Trivium. Trivium is they're a thrash metal band, sort of. They're very they're extremely influenced by Metallica, and
I mean, like them then.
their singer Matt Heafy, he's actually one of my favorites. Matt Heafy, he auditioned for the band by playing No Leaf Clover by Metallica
Oh yeah.
with it. So like he auditioned, like they're really like, it's really in their roots. But yeah, they play like they have a very heavy style. Shogun, the reason I chose Shogun has a couple of my favorite songs on it. There's Down from the Sky. It's amazing. Really, really good song. It's talking about like war and that kind of stuff. Throes of Perdition. Torn Between Scylla and Charybdis. You wouldn't think it, but that song actually has those words in it.
Surprising.
Yeah, and then there's another song. I think it's on this one. It might be on. I believe it's on here. There's a song. Oh no, that's on a different album. There's another song that I would suggest listening to by them. It's off, I think, the album before this, but it's still really good. It's called Becoming the Dragon. It's about the myth that Magikarp is actually based on. The carp swimming through the dragon gates to become a dragon, and it's amazing, and it has some of the best...
Top of a waterfall.
Yeah. It has some of the best bass work I've ever heard, because there's a guitar solo. There's a solo at the end of it, and I thought it was guitars at first. It's actually their
I hope my
bassist.
mic's not picking that up. Sorry.
It's actually their bassist, who's amazing, and he plays a BC Rich Warlock, which is the same kind of bass I have. So
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
But yeah, just really, really cool band. They have two guitarists. And one of their guitarists is also their lead singer. And it's one of those things where it's like a lot of people, when they have like the lead singer who's playing guitar, he's just playing like rhythm, and he's just playing a couple of chords and stuff like that. He's just backbeating for it just to look like he's doing something. No, Matt Heafy fucking goes off. Like almost every one of their solos is like a double solo where it's like Corey, their main guitarist, will play part of a solo, and then Matt will finish the solo, and it's fucking awesome. They're like the chemistry between them and stuff like that. Most of the guys have been playing together for years. They're really, really good. I would suggest listening to them if you get the chance. They're very, very heavy, so keep that in mind. But they're really good. And I would say with that, that has been the Loot Stash podcast.
Plug.
What?
Shameless plug.
Oh,
You are currently viewing the new screen. I drew that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Shout out to
New
Mario
background.
for the official Loot Stash screen
Logo.
for the
Logo
podcast.
and background.
Yes, and also content creator of the weeks. I would say honestly, I'd probably say Lazy Masquerade. He's actually one of the guys that does the scary stories that I was talking about earlier, and he's actually really, really cool, and he's British, and
Oh shit! Points.
awesome. But yeah, but anyways, that has been the Loot Stash podcast. I, as always, am your host, Mr. Surehands, and signing off, we have Sir Double D,
Hey, goodbye. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Chaos,
Goodbye.
and Spartan Paladin, who is dead.
Oh.
Crickets chirp in the background.